Welcome to episode 51. This is IT Fundamentals Training Series, and I'm your host, Mark Haupt. Let's get started with talking about browsers and different functions like that. Welcome to the IT Fundamentals Training Series. Again, I am your host, Mark Haupt, and today we're going to talk about browsers, PDF viewers, and all sorts of other different pieces of software. Well, actually, we're just going to talk about PDF and the functions of the browsers that we can play with a little bit. All right, so we did talk about the zip creation tools the last time we spoke. We talked about firewalls, and those were a couple of different pieces of software that you probably need to go play with. If you hadn't have time to sit down and actually play with those on your computer, you should do that. You should go back and do that. Those are important pieces, especially the firewall in regards to security, learning how to deal with that and how to address that type of situation. You can prevent a lot of different security issues by dealing and manipulating your firewall correctly. So let's go ahead and dive in here on page 301. Let's take a look at PDF viewers and creators. Now, the portable document file, or or the format, I should say, portable document format, or PDF. This has been around quite a long time by Adobe. And so a lot of people automatically think of PDF equals Adobe. There are other pieces of software that you can use out there to create, modify, and manipulate various PDF documents. So I'm going to show you two of them. I'm going to show you the Adobe program, and I'm going to show you what you can do inside of Microsoft Word, because for years you had to have the Adobe product in order to even save into the PDF, and you still have to have that product in order to save into into and then manipulate the PDF files. Now, you can use other PDF products. There's a Foxit Pro, for example, that is one that you could utilize, but Adobe remains the premier version. Obviously, it is their product, so you probably want to take a look at Adobe itself. Now, you can download, and you probably already do have it downloaded on your computer, the Adobe Reader for free. There is no charge for that. You go to adobe.com, adobe.com, download that, and you can read any document. Now, the cool thing is that I have a copy of the paid for version, which is not expensive, but not cheap either. And if you've got even a halfway business need for doing anything other than just saving into PDF format, then it's probably worth having at least one of the 3 or 4 different versions of Adobe that Acrobat that you can use. And I'm going to show you a couple of functions inside of Adobe Acrobat. But first, what I want to do is I want to show you the functions inside of Microsoft Word, so that you can just get a little bit of an idea of what we can do inside of this product. So I am going to share my screen. I'm going to share screen 2 here, and we will take a look at Microsoft Word. All right, so Microsoft Word, we've talked about Word being a productivity software. It's been a number of versions now that it's been out where you could save a document into PDF directly from Word. Now, it actually has 2 functions. You can either save as PDF, which you can see right here on my screen, and what happens when you click on that is it comes up and it actually has the save as type PDF. So if I click save, just like saving any other document, and then it will save it. But guess what? Mine didn't, because of my license on here, because of the license that I have installed with PDF Reader. So we're going to push pause here for just a moment, and then we'll be right back with you. Okay, we're back now, and I apologize for that little delay there. And actually, you probably don't even know the delay because of this fun little thing called editing. But I apologize for the thing not working. Let's put it that way. So the reason it didn't work properly is because I have the Adobe license that I was bragging about so wonderfully before I went did that save. But the Adobe license itself allows you to install the product on two computers and using it one time, in other words, one concurrency. So remember a couple licensing or a couple of conversations ago, we talked about licensing and concurrent licensing. So this allows you to install it twice, but only one concurrent license. And it automatically manages the concurrent side of it, but I happen to have it installed in, I have three different computers that I operate this from, and I had not installed it on this computer, or I should say I had not activated the license key on this computer since I had last used it on my laptop a couple of days ago. So that was the reason for that delay. But let's go back and start this again. All right, so in Microsoft Word, there are two functions that allow you to move a document from the Word document format into PDF. One is the Save as Adobe PDF. It's just like saving any other document. You click on Save as Adobe PDF, you find out where you want to save the document to, and then you simply click save and the document will save as a PDF. And one of the neat little things about that is that Adobe will pop up in that format, and there it is in the Adobe PDF format for us. All right, I'm going to close that down because now I'm going to show you again from the Word function. And keep in mind, these are native to Word. And I'll tell you, if you don't have a PDF license, like I do have the PDF license, if you don't have it, it will automatically save it, as PDF. There won't be a license issue with it because it is a free function. The problem was that mine knows that my copy is not free. So then the next thing you could do is you can print to PDF. So you just click on under Word, you click on your file and then print, and then you select your printer as the Adobe PDF printer. Now, you can also, for example, if you have a copy of Foxit Pro or one of the other PDF products, it can be installed as the printer as well. So when you print it into PDF, it's like printing it to any other printer. You can make all sorts of settings here, and you just click print, and then it will act like it's saving it as a PDF document. Just like we saw a moment ago, I'm going to save it under this zone here. It's saying, hey, it already exists. You want to replace it? Yes, I do. And then from here on, it operates very similarly in the fact that the PDF product or the Acrobat product will open up. All right, so that is how you go from Microsoft Word, or you could do this in Excel or PowerPoint or any other of the Microsoft products. They automatically have these things installed. And again, if you have the free version of Acrobat, you can still do this. Mine was the way it was because of my paid for version. All right, so that's how you can get a document into PDF. Now, if you have a document that's in PDF, like we have here, there's a whole bunch of wonderful little features inside of here. You can create a PDF natively inside of PDF. You click that, and then just like starting and opening any other type of file, it will start working through that process. You can actually sit there and type in it. You can, and this again on the paid for version, you can combine files. You can edit a PDF. So like this PDF, if shoes is spelled incorrectly, I can highlight that and make changes to it. So there, let's make it shows for South instead of shoes for South, right? I could change the colors, the text, images, all those kinds of wonderful little things there. All right, so so that's just one option that we have there for us. All right. Another one is you can add a signature to it. So if I wanted to like just add some text box, for example, I can type that in here, and that's part of the fill and signs function. But if I wanted to actually sign the document, I could add my signature in there as well, and that makes it what we call a wet signed document, meaning it looks like, in fact, this is my signature here that you could operate within. All right. So we can export a PDF. Now this one's a really neat one, because if you have a PDF document and you want to take it back into a PowerPoint or an Excel or other type of format, including Microsoft Word, you can do that. So I can convert this document into a Microsoft Word document. So there it is, Word. Choose the folder, and we're gonna put this into our downloads folder like we are the others. We're gonna call it Shoes for South 2021. There we go. And now it's creating it into a Word document and it brings it up, and look at that right there. Now I can make all the edits and all the changes that I want to make to it in Word instead of Adobe PDF. So that's another very helpful function. Organizing pages will allow me to add pages in here, so I can add additional pages or even move them around. So if I had multiple pages in here, I want to reorder them, I could do that. It's very helpful. Now there's a whole bunch of other features here. One of them that I like to use in my business, being that I'm in the security business, is this one where I can redact a particular thing. So if I've got a confidential piece in here, I can hide that, and then do what they call sanitize the document, and I could save it back. And here's what it will do is it will just clean the document up. That's one way to do it. Then the other way to do that, redaction, where it is redact. Let's say I want to redact a text or an image. I could just highlight that, and then I can apply it. And yes, I want to continue that. And there you go. Then it blacks it out so you can't see it. And so that's an important function if you wanted to remove some confidential information, but yet let someone see the document in general, you can do that. The final thing I'm going to show you, something I use so frequently, if I want to digitally sign a document. Now, digital signatures have become a thing today, where I can digitally sign, meaning I could place a certificate on there. Now, this is a cryptographic certificate. And so what it does is it says, hey, Mark helped sign the document. I digitally signed it on this date, this time, and right down to even telling me what time zone I'm in. This -5 is telling me that I'm in the central time zone when I'm signing this. Now, I signed a couple of these up in Alaska when I was up there this summer. I've signed them in different time zones, and that changes wherever I'm at. So it's a very helpful function to be able to sign legal documents. You can sign documents legally this way, and we do that quite frequently. If you wanted to create one of these new certificates or create a certificate, during the digital, you click on digital sign and you highlight where you want to do that. You can configure this new digital ID down here, create a new ID, and then walk through the process here, and you can add a whole bunch of information to that. So Adobe PDF, Adobe Acrobat is an incredibly powerful tool. It's used in a ton of business functions, including in legal functionality and so on and so forth. All right, so let's exercise 5.6 walks you through the process of downloading and installing Adobe Acrobat Reader. I would recommend you do that if you don't already have that on your machine. Now let's switch over to the browser, web browsers. Now, we know that there's a ton of web browsers out there, okay? I am an adamant Chrome user, but you can use Microsoft Edge. In fact, the book asks you to use Microsoft Edge. You can use a whole bunch of different browsers that are out there, including there's a Safari from Apple. Let's just take a little quick search and see what kind of web browsers are out there. I think there's one that's called Brave, which is this one here. It looks like a lion. There's you can still download the Opera browser and a couple of others. Way back in the day, the Netscape browser was the thing, but I really like the Google Chrome browser. From a security perspective, it stays up to date on its own. What would happen is if there was a update, it would come up here in the top right-hand corner and say, click here to update, and you basically click that button, and then it restarts the browser and you're good to go. But what we want to talk about today is configuring these web browsers, and how to do that from a security perspective in particular. Okay, now the book in figure 5 where is it at? Well, it's 532, 531, and 530 all look at the Microsoft Edge versions of the browser, but then 533 starts looking at the Chrome version of the browser, and that's the one we're going to look at. So there's inside of Chrome, there's what's called plugins, add-ons, toolbars, and extensions. All right, so all these little things up here um, these are various extensions that I've put into my browser. I have my password vault that's up here. I have a product that is what's called the Okta browser. What Okta is for single sign-on for my Office. I have this neat little tool here that I keep all the time, is an eyedropper. This will allow me, if I click on this, allow me to take the eyedropper and I click on pick a color from the web page. Like if I want to know what color, if I really like this blue color, for example, I want to know what color that is, I click on it, and then I can go back and it gives me all the hex codes and the different codes and everything that that would exist, so I can replicate that color. It's really kind of cool, this little eyedropper piece, and that's exactly what it's called, is eyedropper, and as a color picker. It's just something yeah, just something that you is a little tool, a little toy every now and then I need to utilize. All right, so this area down here is called my bookmarks, and again, you're probably familiar with this type of thing, but what a lot of people are not familiar with is being able to create folders for their bookmarks. Like I've got 52 different items underneath this one. I can put subfolders in there, and those things along those lines. And yes, I do have a folder called Russia, which is where I keep an idea, or keep an eye on what's going on out there in the Russian-Ukraine type of situation. Looking at Jane's Defense Weekly, for example, for any new information that might be going on there. All those kinds of things. Now, one of the reasons I went to Jane's here is because one of the things that pops up frequently, especially on a European site, are these banners at the bottom or somewhere that talk about the privacy and identify all the things that the website is doing with the privacy, and in particular cookies. Now, most people will, it's a European law. Let me say that first of all, it's a European law that they have to put this banner on there to identify how privacy is being handled, and what's being collected by the cookies. All right, and a lot of companies, whether they operate in Europe or not, have taken to this and done this. So you can either be the sheep and accept all cookies, or you can be like me and take a look at, okay, what are they really collecting? And I do this frequently. I'll take a look at that, and I'll tell them, look, you're only allowed to collect the cookies that are strictly necessary for and then you want to take a look at their definition of what strictly necessary means, because that could mean a lot of different things. You definitely don't want targeting cookies. You definitely don't want social media cookies. Folks, this right here is how Google and other things find out exactly how to send you ads. So the less cookies, then the better off it is. Yes, it will have some impact on functionality of the website over long term. So some websites that you activate and utilize on a frequent basis, you very well may want to accept all cookies on. But I typically do not do that, so that they have to fight for their information. Because once again, I've said it before and I'll say it again, is that when you give your information out like that, then you become the product. So on Facebook, for example, as you put new information out there, as you add things, you are their product. And you know how they're making money? Why they can give you Facebook for free and not charge you anything is because you are the product, meaning they will take your information and they will sell it to ad makers, and they will sell it to companies to identify what you're clicking on and how you're utilizing their website. And that's the same thing with, with a website like this is they will sell that information as targeted information for them, a new company to come after you to try and sell you some things. So anyway, that's one thing there. So we talked about the toolbar that's up here. If you want to add a bookmark to it, you could just you can right click on the toolbar and you can add, copy, paste. Like for example, let's just say that I wanted to add CNN to my bar. I could drag it. I click on that lock function or there, and I could drag it, and you can see, boom, there it is. That's one way to do it. Or you can copy the URL. You could click on add page you right click on the toolbar and then you click on add page, and then you could copy the URL in there and save it wherever you want to save it. So those are some different options after, in regards to the toolbar there. Now, one of the other things that they want you to take a look at are extensions. So extensions are things that are inside of your browser as well, to help make it operate a little more efficiently for you. So I have my antivirus product as an extension inside of my my toolbar here. I also have Acrobat PDF. So whenever I look at a PDF document on a website, it will pop up my Acrobat there, and you could do that too. All right, so let's take a look at some of the settings. One of the things they talk about in the book are proxy settings. Now, I don't have a way to share proxy settings with you because I haven't used proxies in probably 20 years or more. But bottom line is, proxy is this. If you're using a proxy, that means you're directing all of your traffic that you're going to from your web browser to this device. It will then scrub that. It's a security tool. It'll scrub your information, and then pass it back out to the internet. And what it does, not only scrubs the information going out and coming in, looking for viruses, malware, things along those lines, but it also masks your IP address that's on your computer. Now, you can do this with network address translation, which we'll get into a little bit more when we talk about the network later on. But that's proxy 5.3, 5.35 is the figure on that. You could take a look at that. All right, so let's take a look at basic browser security. And these are some important things. We already talked about managing cookies, but let's go take a look at managing your cache a little bit. So cache is a history, if you will, of all the browser services that you've every web page that you've gone to, if you will. All right. So those are some things inside of the cache. Those are some areas where you could potentially utilize that as a positive thing to pull up websites more quickly, because you're pulling up some of the history, if you will. Or it could also hold on to things like passwords and tracking information that you don't want to have. So we're going to go down these Chrome browser security functions. So first of all, clearing your browsing history. This is something that you want to do from time to time, but I would highly recommend that if you do that, you probably don't want to kill your entire history. You probably do want to look at getting rid of your cached or your cookies items. So what you do is hit advanced, and you define what you want to actually remove. So cookies and other site data, yeah, we're going to clear that one right now. And what it's doing is it's telling me there that from 1,288 sites, it is clearing the cookies and other site data that's related to that. And then it's also syncing to my my Gmail account. So it's clearing it from inside of my Gmail account as well. So when I get on another computer, let's say I get on my laptop a little bit later on, it will be cleared on there as well. Now, I didn't think it was going to take this long, but we'll just sit here and let it operate a little bit. it will operate in the background while I get back into the settings here and go to privacy and security. And let's look at the privacy guide this time, okay? So they actually give you a privacy guide. And this is in response to California Consumer Privacy Act, but first of all, the European Union General Data Privacy Regulation, or GDPR. All right, so it's going to walk you through. It says, hey, we want to make searches better for you. So when you're doing things on the website, these are, describes to you what it's going to do. All right, so I don't know that I want to make searches and browsing better, because what they're doing is they're collecting information off of me. History sync. So this is going to allow me to sync all of my devices. This is the one that I do want to turn on because it's just about me. Enhanced protection. I also want this to be on. I don't want standard protection. I want enhanced protection. So what enhanced protection is doing is predicting and warning me about dangerous events that might happen on the computer. So it's giving me bad, hey, that URL has been known to be bad, things along those lines. And it warns me if passwords are exposed in a data breach, things along those lines, which is very much what I want to have on my system. All right, so I want to block third-party cookies, and this is one that you have to consider, because this will require you to re-sign into some websites every time you visit the website, and that's okay for me. That may not be, it's maybe a little bit of a pain for you, and you don't want to do that. But keep in mind that if, in fact, you want to keep as many ads as possible off of your system, then this is one you want to have employed. All right, so this is just the review is complete. I made a couple of changes. Great. Now let's take a look specifically at the third-party cookies. I block those third-party cookies in incognito mode. Actually, I probably want to block third-party cookies all the time, not just in incognito mode. All right, so I do not want, see, it says allow related sites to see your activity in the group, and I do not want that to happen, so I'm going to turn that off and send a do not track request with your browser. So this is an important piece right here, is when a cookie is sent to my, when a cookie is sent to my computer, by allowing this to be on, I'm actually telling my browser to reject that and send back a notification that says do not track me. I don't want your tracking. All right. The preloading of pages just makes things run quicker, and because I've got other security tools turned on, this is okay in standard mode. And then I can get down here and I can see site by site what permissions are permitted. So this is, for example, adobe.com. Here, Adobe account.adobe and newexpress.adobe. These are sites that I've visited. Why in the world is Applebee's on there? Well, about 2 years ago, no, actually it was 1 year ago, I bought somebody a gift card on there. You can see it's still there even now. So from time to time, it's a good idea to go through these here and just delete these functions and get rid of them. All right, so I'm gonna remove some of these and but not all of them. All right, so you can see how that goes. Customized behaviors. I can add customized behaviors if I want to. Ad privacy is another fun one here. I don't want any topics. I got that turned off. Topics I blocked. I could manually block topics I don't want to see, but I've got everything turned off. Site suggested ads, I've got that turned off, and I recommend you do too, because who wants to see those? And then ad measurement. This is where the sites and advertisers can measure the performance of their ads. I really don't want to be the product here, folks, so I turn them off, but you have to go and turn that off yourself if you want to. All right, traditional security functions. Again, we're on enhanced protection. We've kind of gone through this stuff a little bit. I can manage certificates. I can manage the device certificates, things along those lines. Now, those are the SSL or TLS certificates that are allowed to be on my device. And, remember when we were doing the Adobe Acrobat, we were creating that e-signature. Well, that's actually these right here. These 5 are my Acrobat signatures that I have created. You can see they expire in a few years. And so these are some other certificates that sometimes websites are allowed to put on. And I allow certain ones to get on my machine so that I can have a secure communication going back and forth. Then again, we have site settings where we can actually get in and by site, we can make changes to the security functions on there. All right, so that's an overview of web browsers and a lot of the security settings that are available there. The one last thing I want to show you about is incognito mode, and then we'll wrap this up. If you click the 3 dots above over here and you choose new incognito window, what this is this is the most secure version of the Chrome browser. Nothing you browse entirely privately inside of this. Nothing is tracked, nothing is going on, and other than you know, being in this window the way it is, you go to the sites just the same. So like, you know, there I am, I'm going to CNN. You know, I can go to this thing called timeline, which, you know, is interesting that oh, there we go. That's that timeline is going to my Google account. Maybe I can go to a website here for the FAA I can see. This is an interesting one, by the way. If you want to know what the weather actually looks like visually at various airports and other places across the country, the FAA has set up these webcams so that a pilot, for example, a bush pilot in Alaska, could be sitting here in Anchorage and going, you know, I'm not sure if I should fly up here to Palmer or not. The weather, you know, they're reporting the weather's a little sketchy, but I want to actually see it myself and see what it looks like. Here is how to do that. You can click on the different directions. And what's cool about this is it will give you, hey, this is what it looks like on a clear day. And here's some things you should see on this mountain. So this mountain is 3,100 foot MSL, mean sea level, and 16 miles out. So that's that spot right there. So you can see 16 miles out at that spot. And then this one here, you know, again, 9 miles out is that little point right there. And then that little thing, that butte, which I've stood on, it's kind of cool, 4.5 miles out from the airport. And that shoreline is actually a river. What I wish they would have done is they put this little spot, this little mountain here, which you can't see today, but you could on the clear one. Maria and I actually went up on that mountain. Right in that little notch right there is a glacier called Cataract Glacier, and that is where we went dog sledding. And then actually, so that mountain right there where it is, my finger, my little finger on my mouse is pointing is, let's see, it is, where is that? That is, see, it's Connect Glacier. So Cataract is right in here, and that's good, probably 20 miles out from the airport or thereabouts. We can look out this way and look out that way. So yeah, so these are some, you know, you see how this came up here. The webcams for FAA, they want to know my location, and they're not going to take my location unless I allow them explicitly or block them. And I'm going, nope, you don't need to know where I'm at when I'm looking at this, but thanks anyway. So I got some friends that live over here in Wasilla, so I'm going to go sneak in and see what their weather looks like. Look at that, they got some fresh snow up on those mountains up there in the Wasilla area, Wasilla, Alaska. But anyway, so that's incognito mode. We could stop looking at my little fun cameras from the FAA. All right. So anyway, that is that is web browsing for us today, and a little bit of Adobe PDF. Hopefully this has helped you learn a little bit about computing, and I look forward to teaching you more later on. Episode 51 is in the books. Later.